Ever since I started posting on social media about my academic life, I've been receiving a lot of requests on how I balance my work, life, study, and research as someone in their 30s, which is a phase that happens a lot in our lives. So I decided to create this series of 5 episodes where I will be sharing with you all the systems and how I design my life so that I can handle everything without burning out and going crazy. Hello, friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rafaela. I'm an educational sociologist based in Tokyo. Since this is the first episode, I will be sharing with you the foundation that supports this system that helped me balance this work, life, study, and research. Just for context, I'm an assistant professor at a university in Japan, and I teach classes, I do research, I do qualitative research, and I also have some side projects, and I absolutely love to enjoy life as well. If you see my social media, I'm always posting about my travels, my family time, all those things. But to be honest, I'm still learning how to balance. So don't take all the advices that I will be giving here as a final or like a concrete advice. This is something that I have learned throughout the years and I'm still progressing. And I hope these experiences will also help you reorganize your life so that you can actually start feeling energized and passionate about your research and your life and your work as well. That said, I will start sharing what are the things that I keep in mind so that I can actually create more time to handle all those things that I have on my plate. The first thing I did when I was literally burned out and I couldn't really see a way out was to reprioritize my tasks and also my life in general. What was important for me at the time and what are the things that were not really aligned to my vision or to my values. Back then, I was working in corporate and also studying, and then also doing these educational side gigs, let's say, so that I could build both my academic career and also financially stable life. But at the time, I realized that although that job was giving me this financial stability, I was not happy. I mean, I liked the job itself, I liked the people that I work with, but the truth is, it was not my passion. I was working in tourism industry, which is totally different from what I do now. I was doing some research job inside the company, but still it wasn't the educational field. So I made a huge decision to let go of that work and decided to focus fully on these educational jobs and see where it would take me. That was a very scary moment for me because I had my younger sister who was in university and my dad has already passed away. I had to support my mom as well and also support myself here in Tokyo. But still, today I realized that that was the best decision I made in my life. Um, that's where I actually started reorganizing my life, and I was able to produce more papers and do more research, more studies, and also take more educational jobs like teaching. And that's how I started building more of my academic experiences. I'm not saying that you should leave your job like immediately, not that. I'm just saying that if there's anything in your life, like major event or a major responsibility that you feel like it's not really aligned to your values and to your future vision, I would suggest you to reconsider your career options and see what other options that you could actually have that will give you more peace and also the passion to enjoy life. On that line, I truly believe that creating this boundary is really important as well, especially in the early career stage. I feel like you want to experience a lot of things inside the job and you're excited for taking those responsibilities that people are relying on you. But at the same time, we also have to remember that we are human beings and there is a limit to the things that we can actually take on. Dropping some non-urgent and not non-necessary task from your plate is also important. I feel like we end up doing a lot of things in our daily life because we're used to do that or we believe that we need to do that. But in reality, when we start reorganizing the tasks, there are many things that we see that we could just drop them from our plate and nothing will really change drastically. So if you can start reorganizing those small tasks, that will also help you create more time in your schedule. I also love to use Notion. I don't get tired of mentioning about Notion here on YouTube, but I use Notion as my second brain for everything, not just my research, but also for my private life. I like to keep all my to-dos right there in the calendar. That also helps me organize the dates that I need to complete these tasks so that I don't have to be excessively worried about the things that I don't have to be worried now. That's why, like I mentioned in my previous videos, I spend this time in the beginning of the year so that I can organize all my tasks throughout the year, like based on the semesters and also the seasons that I usually travel, and also the times that I don't have any classes to teach. That way I can avoid overlapping too many tasks or schedules at the same time. For example, let's say I get an invitation to present my research in a conference or an event. And then I check my calendar. I say, okay, this is the time that I'm busy, so maybe next week will be the best. That way I can negotiate based on my availability and also my energy. I also like to have more of a routine into my calendar, even though I am this kind of person who loves to be flexible and spontaneous when it comes to my research. I try to keep this structure in my calendar so that I know more or less what are the things that I need to be doing at the time. For example, on Mondays, I like to work more on the class preparation, so that throughout the week I don't have to be constantly worried about have I prepared the slides or have I communicated to students, this and that. I am free from that during the week. I can focus on teaching, for example. And I also like to schedule the gym and also my volleyball practice, all those things. I like to put that in calendar and time block so that I don't have to be constantly scheduling and rescheduling whenever something comes up. Also, when I time block, I try to think of how many hours I would like to work per day. For example, in my case, I set a limit to 9 hours maximum because I know that that's the limit of my body and my brain as well. I know that if I keep pushing myself longer than that, I will end up not being as performative on the next day or the next week, for example. I also like to divide my tasks in the time block based on deep work or shallow work. That helps me stay consistent and more focused throughout the day. For example, I like to set the more deep work during the day. That way I know if I lose energy in the afternoon, I have already done the important tasks. In the afternoon, I'd like to do some admin tasks or like editing tasks, all those things that doesn't really require that much of my focus. When scheduling these tasks, I also like to have some buffer time between tasks, because sometimes you calculate like how long you will need to tackle a task, but you end up spending more time than you expected. And when you don't have that buffer time, you will end up panicking when you don't really finish things on time. Last but not least, I always tell you all to prioritize your mental health and your physical health as well, because that's the only way you can keep up with all these responsibilities that you have and still be in a good mood. So these are the foundations that I keep in mind to have this soft, disciplined academic life. I know that we have many responsibilities in academia, but we also want to live our lives, right? So in the next 4 episodes, I will be sharing with you more in detail how I maintain this soft, disciplined academic life based on these 4 categories: work, life, study, and research. And please let me know in the comments what are the things that you would like to know most, and what are the things that you're struggling as well, so that I can also address those in my next videos. And I will see you there. Bye!